I'm doing the same Refutation speech, and it's on rapid urbanization. He claims that rapid urbanization of third world countries is bad for the environment, and the secondary claims are destruction of farmland, decrease in the health of residents, and animal deaths. The first claim is the destruction of farmland, but like without urbanization, there would be no need for farming more food because there wouldn't be like a lot of people, and so if there's not enough people, there wouldn't be a need for food. There are plant growth losses because of cities, but there has been much more technology that has risen since the farming industry that helps them grow plants and faster and easier. The decrease in land requires farmers to use fertilizers, but not all fertilizers are harmful to the environment. There's organic fertilizers, which helps the soil become healthier, but at the same time does not damage the environment. Since 1990, the market of organic products has grown from nothing, reaching up to $55 billion in 2009, according to Organic Monitor. There's there's approximately 37 million hectares or 91 million acres worldwide that are now farmed organically. The second claim is decrease in health of residents. The first example given for residents' health risk is that there are leaky sewage systems, which cause health hazards. This is not really directly related to rapid urbanization, because just because there is rapid urbanization does not mean that there has to be leaky sewage pipes that contaminate the water supply. The second example given in the residents' health risks is air pollution. There were examples that were given from Mexico City of how the automobiles cause a lot of air pollution, which means the ozone layers in Mexico City has a high concentration. This example is true, but it is not sufficient in overall view of all the areas. He also claimed the United States maximum atmospheric concentration is only half of Mexico City's, so it's a little bit contradicting. The third claim is animal deaths. And animals are a big part of this environment, but most people would think that humans are more important. So rapid urbanization does have an effect on animals that once inhabited the land. But if there was no rapid urbanization, the farmers or people in rural areas wouldn't get the chance to move into the city and pursue a better life.
It's interesting when you get those back-to-back responses of the same argument, because you get a chance to see how differently people approach basically the same issues. You did define labeling the secondary and the main claims, and in fact structurally you followed that pretty clearly. The need for urbanization is vaguely defended, and I think you need to have a little bit more of an explanation about why urbanization is inevitable and why, in fact, the land requirements are not necessarily problematic. You kind of get into this circular arguments as well. If they didn't urbanize, farmers wouldn't need to be growing food anyway. Okay, well, that doesn't tell me that we've balanced this, or that the problems are minimized in some way, or that they are really not particularly important. You then get into an argument about organic growth, and you had some good information on this particular point. I'm just not sure how it's being applied to the argument here, and that needs to be clarified. On the second point, I thought that, when you're talking about the leaky sewer system, I thought you had an interesting argument here that says that it's not necessarily due to rapid urbanization. And one of the things that I think you need to do is press these kinds of things. The advocate's example is about a leaky sewer system in Mexico City. but does the evidence ever say it was built too quickly and that's why it was shoddy? Or is it been something that's been there forever and it's basically failed after years of service? We don't really get an answer on that. And the notion that it can't happen someplace else, well, we heard in the other speech there was a good counterexample on that point. So you've got to press on the point, but you don't really have an argument developed on it. The air pollution issue, basically you grant the air pollution issue. Yeah, the weather or the air pollution down there is pretty crappy. The challenge to urbanization, I think, needs to be pressed a little bit. And the demonstration, even just looking at the advocate's evidence and maybe asking a question or two might be a good idea. And on the third point, you largely grant that that's true as well. So again, there's not much attempt to diminish the argument. It feels like it's a response, but not an argumentative response. It's just like an analytical response. Well, here's what the argument was, and here's some of the things about the argument that I noticed, as opposed to a refutation. So it feels a lot, like it's underdeveloped as an argument.